Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 671 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles. I am back. I am not gone any longer. Back from the wilderness of Colorado. I'm joined today by Andrew Spencer Spey of Yerba Mate fame and J.D. Rader, James Dean, and so much to get into. But we're going to start with more pressing things, things that are that are more personal in nature. And I'm worried about my friend, Andrew, J.D. Rader. He is now not just a moped driver. He now has a motorcycle, okay, a death bike. And I'm a little worried about him because I think motorcycles are frankly a gateway drug.
Gateway vehicle.
Well, what's next?
Exactly.
Our question.
That's my question for you. Where does it stop? Where did the JD?
You go down to one wheel.
Yeah, you could go to, and if you start riding around a motorized unicycle, we're gonna have big trouble. I follow you on Instagram. You wear these wild outfits, and I feel like you and your lovely girlfriend have this Bonnie and Clyde thing, and I feel like you're gonna be holding up banks and stuff soon.
Modern day Bonnie and Clyde, maybe.
Yeah, that's what
I hadn't considered holding up a bank, but that idea is now implanted in my brain.
Yeah,
Quick getaway.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen at some point. So, when did you get this bike?
Last night.
Oh my gosh!
When do you have time to buy a motorcycle?
I got lots of time.
Yeah, you got no kids.
You don't know what I do with my time.
Yeah. Look at this guy. I don't know. So JD's got a bike. I'm a little worried about that. I leave for 1 week, and he's got a motorcycle. He's got new fancy boots that he takes off when he gets here, like Mr. Rogers when he gets home. He puts on his slippers. JD walks in these aggressive boots and then puts on some straight up New Balance dad shoes.
That's right.
So
that's called swagger.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's got it. So a lot had happened while I was gone. Very exciting stuff. First of all, I think you should leave. We'll wait this. We'll sprinkle in the non-wrestling talk. I think you should leave. If you listen to this show, you pretty much have watched. I think you should leave season 1 because we reference it all the time. Well, season 2 came out, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think the biggest news while I was gone, maybe, is the Cornell coaching squad is insane.
They're building an empire. That's what I said when the news dropped.
It's
Gray is building an empire.
It's empirical in nature for sure. And you look at the coaches he was able to pluck. It's like it's a super young staff, but they're crazy experienced, right? Like,
so you get best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. Because all these guys can still flat out roll, right? You've got Kellen Russell who comes from Michigan, right? He's been at that program since 2007, basically. I'm not sure quite when he graduated, but he's been on staff for a really long time around Coach McFarland, Coach Bourmet, Chirella. You've got Donnie Vinson, who was at Cornell, and then now at NC State under Pat Pop and working with Coach Hall and that amazing program. So you bring those guys in, and Nick Wisdowski's there, legit senior level threat who, let's face the facts, if Gable's gone after this, it's Gwiz or Mason Paris for the foreseeable future at 125. Now, Kirk Fleet will probably enter that chat at some point. But this is just a ferocious staff. You've got.
Well, Kirk Fleet did beat Mason at Olympic team trials.
That's a great point.
I think he's already kind of in that chat.
Yeah, he's in the chat. All right. Kirk Fleet's in the chat. So you look at that Cornell staff, and what I don't know if the word recovery is appropriate, but you are forced when Rob Cole leaves. When Rob Cole leaves, you are in a recovery mode of sorts. Like, you have to recover from this loss. This is how you do it. I mean, and I know the proof will ultimately be in the pudding, but if there's this just says to me Cornell is just as committed to wrestling, because I'm sure going out and plucking these guys from NC State, from Michigan was not that easy. And it's a great, for someone like, for Donnie, he's back to New York. Nick Wisdowski back in New York. For Kellen Russell, you look at the Michigan, Coach Bourmet's not going anywhere. Coach Chirella, you got some really seasoned guys, quote, ahead of you in line there. So it's a good opportunity for Kellen as well. So I think on the recruiting front, it's a slam dunk. These are guys that are gonna fit in well, and I think it's a fantastic job by Mike Gray in keeping the momentum at Cornell.
Yeah, the lineup's going to be salty too. Max Dean departed, but they have a ton of hammers coming back. You got Yanni and Vito. You could have another Diakomahalis and Greg entering that lineup. Josh Saunders is chomping at the bit to get in there. Colton Yapugian comes back. And then upper weights, Chris Foca hasn't had a chance to wrestle yet. He beat Max at, what was it, Last Chance?
Yes.
And then you have your favorite, Darmy Army, coming back at 197. And then Luis Fernandez, a really good young heavyweight that I'm interested in seeing as well. So there's a lot of All-Americans in there.
And I love Fernandez and Gwiz. That combo, I think, is going to be really formidable. And they also have Jacob Cardenas there, too, who I don't know when exactly he's going to break into the lineup. But that's a good-looking athlete, like just a big, strong dude, very athletic. So he'll be tough as well. But, yeah, for Gwiz and Fernandez, to me, barring injury, they'll find a way to get him on the podium, right?
A lot of point scores in March.
Yeah, very good. And also in EIWA news, I mean, I feel like it's only a matter of time before University of Pennsylvania is a top 10 team and program. When you look at and it's maybe a little tougher to say that, but I think between the RTC and the coaching staff, it's just going to be, at some point, it's going to be undeniable for them to not be getting a lot of really, really strong recruits. And I'm really excited for the EIWA battles with Penn as they're emerging, and Princeton's already established, and Cornell's kind of the standard there alongside Lehigh in the EIWA. Now you've got Penn, who has Roger Reyna, Mark Hall, BJ Futrell, Pearsall are there. But the RTC is what is so insane and what's going to be a really powerful draw. You have to figure with Jordan Burroughs is now there. You've got Mark Hall, Joey McKenna, David McFadden, Ethan Lezak, coached by Brandon Slay. You got 2 Olympic champions around the program. It's exciting to see, or at least talk about the potential of that program and the potential of the EIWA. As good as a conference as it's been, how much better it could potentially get with a program like Penn on the rise. And you've got, Americans got some life with Borelli getting the band back together again, bringing on Alex Tirapelli. You got to figure Tirapelli wouldn't go to American if he wasn't feeling strong about the program. This is a guy who was the head coach at Penn, was at Stanford. So a lot of really good stuff, but
yeah, the Pennsylvania RTC, I think, is worth bringing up, too, because that helps not just one EIWA program, but also Drexel.
Right.
You have that Philly ecosystem that they talk about, which is just getting stronger by the day, of all those guys you mentioned. So, you're helping the rooms of both Penn, which is bringing in tons of recruits, and Drexel, which is a very complementary program, different kind of program, but right next to each other, like literally physically across like a street from each other. And both rooms improving. You can't not but improve with that kind of lineup.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly how formidable they will be next year, right, or the year after that. But I think in time, it's going to happen at Penn, and they're going to be really tough. And EIWA will benefit from that. It's great to have another Ivy, power. I think that's good for wrestling too.
Absolutely, good location too. Lots of talent around there.
Yeah, no doubt. No question about that. So Borelli's got Tirapelli going. Ned Shuck to Bellarmine. Ned is kind of probably to a lot of wrestling fans sort of an under the radar guy, and people may not know about. But if you look at Army and the seasons they've been having, obviously Coach Ward's done a fantastic job there. But Ned Shuck was a part of that as well. So I think that's a great hire for Bellarmine, or is it Bellarmine? That'll be my first question.
Interchangeable.
That'll be my first question for Coach Shuck. Interchangeable. I've heard people say Bellarmine, but that's not. That doesn't make sense to me. But people pronounce things how we know. That'll be our first article about Bellarmine.
Yeah, deep dive.
How do you say it?
And Chuck, a guy that's had success at smaller programs too. He was at Whitewater, that had a lot of success, and I think he was at Augsburg too, obviously a program that's had a lot of success at the Division III level. So a guy who knows how to build with not as much resources as a Power 5 Division I program.
Right, correct. So a lot of coaching stuff happened. Also, NIL stuff has been popping off. It's been kind of exciting to see the variety of ways it's manifests itself, from the smaller things to Spencer Lee signs with the same agency or group as Trevor Lawrence, I mean, that's certainly big time. I heard you guys talk about Spencer and Ironside, which makes a ton of sense from that front.
Did you see he also trademarked excuses are for wusses?
I did see that. I think
And now you owe him another chunk of change.
He's only applied yet. It's not gone through.
It's going to go retroactive, so just keep a tally of
you
every
can't.
time.
You wait.
What can I not say?
You know what you said. You owe Spencer. I'm marking it down. There'll be a reckoning.
So that is funny. Is that actually how that works? That's not how it works, right?
Probably.
No, because he trademarked it for apparel mostly and other things.
Imagine what if you
Not
just
the verbal word.
What if you started trademarking phrases and just charging people for saying that? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, all my wardrobe that has excuses are for wusses on it already is going to have to be scrapped. So you can see what this is doing to my
Speaking
collection.
of wardrobe, I mean, Spay has been clearly shopping at Dan Flash's because he's got some magnificent tops.
Yeah, this is bargain basement pattern, so not that expensive, but that is how they value their shirts. But yeah, it's been a couple new tops, 2 in a row, I think.
Yeah, Spay went on vacation and came back swagged out. Vacation
Some new
Spay.
tops, yeah.
Yeah, it's good because if you don't know, I would say most, and by most, I mean 94% of Spay's shirts were his dad's at some point.
That's right. Yeah. Why go shopping when you can just, steal from his closet and it never goes out of style? Some would say it does, but that's okay.
No, dude, it doesn't.
You know what? It's style is a mindset, Spay.
Yeah. And then it comes back around again. So I'm ready prepared for whenever the retro wave or whatever comes back.
Yeah, that's why you just don't get rid of anything.
That's exactly
ever.
right. Yes.
So, just a quick around the horn with name, image, and likeness stuff. Yanni D has, I kind of like what, for like some of the top pound for pound guys, he's got a poster, and now he has also a sponsorship with Shotsled. There's the poster. I think I want to buy one, actually.
Pretty dope.
Throw one in CDP's room to accompany his Spencer Lee Pokemon poster that he has. And Shotsled, so that's cool. So good for Yanni. Shotsled sponsors a bunch of wrestlers, actually, which I guess makes
that's
sense.
their main demographic.
No
or
football
target.
players, no basketball players yet. Big on the wrestlers, so that's great. What else is going on? Spencer is on Cameo, so you can have him say something to you. Ryan Deacon, we've been speculating: is this guy coming back? Is he gone? What's happening? Well, I don't know if he had decided a while ago, but when the name, image, and likeness stuff came out, he put out this tweet that said, looking forward to the future and new NCAA legislation is allowing athletes to monetize their name, image, and likeness. With these new rules, I'm looking forward to working with brands and companies that share the same values and interests. Looking forward to the future and continuing to work to be the best I can be, Ryan Deacon. So that does not sound like a guy who's going to be done with college wrestling. It sounds like a guy that's going to be running it back. So that's exciting for 157, we're guessing.
It makes sense, too, when you're a wrestler of Deacon's caliber and you have the opportunity to wrestle in the Big Ten, potentially make an NCAA finals that's going to be on primetime TV. I mean, that's for their brand. They're thinking, this is a good avenue for it, NCAA wrestling. So it makes sense, and then you can kind of leverage it. And what I like about these NIL deals is there's a lot of excitement going into them, but at the very least, these guys are going to hit the ground running, so it's no longer a transition from college. It's a much smoother transition now into the professional world.
No doubt about that. RBY is getting in the mix. He's got a raffle going for just to hang out with him, that's cool. But you know what? It'll probably a lot of people would like to hang out with Roman Bravo Young. But the coolest part is he's got a wings deal. And I don't know I've eaten a lot of chicken wings, but I've never had these. Eat Wings Over is what they're called. So if you're watching the video, there's a picture of Roman in a singlet that says wings on it. So he's got himself a chicken wing sponsorship, which I imagine for a college athlete is about as cool as it gets. Because who doesn't love chicken wings?
Can be dangerous though.
Oh, is this maybe the path to one for one? Chicken. There's worse. If that's your splurge, some fried chicken wings. That could be way worse, right?
Oh, it could be way worse.
Yeah. Like
Just saying.
Johnny Hendricks, this guy was making chairs out of Little Caesars
Thrones.
boxes. A throne.
Put some respect on his name.
Thank you. You're exactly right. They were thrones. They were pizza thrones.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be way worse.
Yeah, that definitely is a cool sponsorship. I'm unfamiliar with that wing place, but if I ever see it and I'm looking for a place to dine, that's where I'm getting my wings.
Yeah, it's already working. Wings over. Wait, what is it called? Eat wings over? Yeah.
Working like a charm.
Yeah, it's working great. So that's exciting. What else is happening in NIL world? Nick Lee, Chevy Dodge. Steve Bowman, a.k.a. Mitch Bowman, but I called him Steve for the better part of a year, I guess. He was the original dealership, and now Nick Lee
is the actual dealership.
This is like so Nick Lee has a sponsorship with Expressway Dodge, which is an Indiana company, which of course Nick's from there. This is a little mix of a car commercial and Vision Quest. A lot of throws, a lot of good training montages here. Yeah, here's a classic lateral drop straight out of
slow-mo,
straight out of Vision Quest. And it's Nick getting in a beautiful new Dodge pickup truck, man.
Pretty nice.
I hope he got a Dodge Ram
Yeah,
pickup.
I mean, if you just get
badass.
a truck to drive around out of the deal, that's a great deal.
That I assume at the big time.
Look at his chin.
Yeah, strong chin.
Yeah.
Strong profile.
Yeah.
All the D1 football and basketball guys got to be driving around new whips now, right?
Oh yeah.
Like everybody's in something nice.
If
I
Nick
mean,
Lee's
a lot of
getting
them already
Dodge
were.
Well, yeah, good point. But I mean, even newer ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember when people were mad at LeBron when he got a Hummer in like 2003? The guy wasn't even going to college, and people were like, "Oh, how'd he get this?" Someone gave it to him. Who cares?
He's a professional.
Bunch of nerds.
That Nick Lee commercial slightly reminded me of that Matthew McConaughey truck commercial where he comes to the Longhorn in the road. Do you remember that one? And then he just very dramatically goes, "You win this time," and turns around and goes home.
He was in a mental battle with the Longhorn? I got to look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
That's deep. Okay, fun stuff in the NIL world. I think it's really cool. I'm excited to see. Now, I feel like, we're still not even a half a month into this thing's existence. So it's going to take a lot of different forms. I think we're going to see more athletes signing with apparel companies, even shoe companies that we saw. Oh, we didn't have AJ Ferrari's near fall thing.
Mm-hmm.
We should. Did y'all ever put that was?
We talked about it.
Okay, yeah, because that's pretty big time. Good for AJ. In the most predictable sponsorship of all time. I think everyone was like, it's going to be with near fall eventually. So that's good stuff as well. All right, next up. Gable Steveson put in his Instagram story some singlet heat. So if you're a singlet person, you want to see what the Olympians are going to be wearing. I'm guessing it's this, and if it's not, then we said I guess. So you literally cannot be mad at me. It's illegal. So, but those look pretty sharp. What do we think about the horizontal stripes?
Not my favorite. I like them, but
what if I told you they were Dan Flash's singlets?
A little more complicated pattern.
It's pretty
something that you can get lost in and
complicated.
just totally space out and just stare at for a while. I don't know if it's worth getting into an accident, maybe hurting your hand or something like that.
I still don't think that's bargain bin, but no, I think they're sharp.
Yeah, no, I think they look pretty cool. I think anytime. It's something new, it's something different, but it's not, way out there. So I'm happy to let it play out on the mat and see how that goes. And I appreciate Gable giving us a sneak peek.
No offense, anything's better than those. Actually, offense. I'm trying to offend a singlet. I did not like these silver singlets that we wore in. Was that 2019?
The one like David Taylor won in.
Yeah.
We're
wearing silver. Silver. No, thank you.
Right, and the gold ones were a little rough too, just like the color.
I can at least it's
I don't know
gold.
the gold ones.
It's true. This is back red and blue classic.
I do like the kind of basic approach. I don't like, there have been times where we've put like a big star on the front or an eagle on the front. I like I'm OS for life.
OS. Here's my bone to pick with, if we're talking, stuff we don't like in uniforms, is 2012, Burroughs won a gold medal, and then they gave him like a weird orange jacket to wear on the podium. And then, 2016, everybody looked sharp. Kyle and Helen, it was the navy
blue.
Yeah, that looked good. Why? And it was like most other Olympic athletes in 2012 weren't wearing these weird orange things. It was just like wrestling and a couple other sports, and it's like that doesn't look like the USA. It was bad. Whatever.
They ruined it.
Still bitter, apparently.
Apparently, who knew? It was rust-colored jackets are the pet peeve of Andrew Spencer Spey.
That's right. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Okay, yeah. But there's a singlet, so if you like singlets, there they are. Okay, next up, do we want to get into a little? I think I'd rather kick it to Spey or JD to talk a little Fargo. But what are the main storylines? It gets started very, very soon. You guys are leaving tomorrow evening?
Tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Are you going to drive like David Bray?
No,
because David's driving. What if I said you could have a minivan and you could fill it full of kids and do it super fun like that? What do you think about that?
Very, very tempting, but I think I will just hop on a metal tube and fly a couple hours.
Yeah.
What about
taking the flights?
This is the last one, and I'll just stop making suggestions for how you guys should travel. But you two on JD's new hog.
Oh, how many miles per gallon are we talking?
Oh, I get 70 miles to the gallon on that hog.
Think of the savings. Think of most of all, think of the memories.
That's true.
You two, you know, locked up.
Yeah, we're gonna get some good quality male bonding time today.
Yeah.
Wild hogs.
If it gets too cold, if it gets too cold, I know a way that we can warm both of us up.
Yeah.
Just go, man. So I'm just saying the weather's never been better for an excursion such as that. So if you decide you don't want to fly there to Fargo, because there's not many directs from Austin anyways, I'm just saying, think about it.
I guess it's an option. We could always call an audible like on the way to the airport. Just like forget it.
Yep, I'll approve the overages, even though I don't approve them. All right, but enough transport talk. Let's talk about the team battles. The different states are all coming in full force. Your favorite storylines. Give us the deal, boys.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch the junior team race. My home state, Iowa, won junior duels for the first time in a very long time, and they're trying to kind of double down. They've got a shot, so I'm really excited about that. They're bringing Drake Ayala, Caleb Ratchie, Garvin was supposed to wrestle Hunter Garvin from Iowa City at 145, but he is out with injury. Team PA might be the favorite though. PA is bringing a lot of their top guys as well, and then always Illinois. There was a little bit of drama at after junior duels.
Let's talk about it. What's the drama?
Well, just Iowa won, and then some people went on Twitter saying, "Yeah, well, Illinois didn't bring their best team."
Man, you can't say that.
Yeah, it's like this team showed up.
Because that's what everyone. Because that is what literally everyone says to Illinois when they win Fargo.
Yes.
Every time they win Fargo,
well, Pennsylvania's
like, well, you didn't. So I hope it wasn't Illinoisans making such a claim, because that's the exact argument that's used on them. Shoes on the other.
And they were saying how, and this is true, but it's still an excuse. It might be somewhat valid and a reason.
What are excuses for?
Oh, that's right. Well,
I'm not gonna say it.
I'm not saying
I'm not
it
gonna
either.
get. I'm not gonna say.
I can say one word. What's this?
Oh my gosh.
We just go around. We each say half of the phrase. What happens there? Then we have to chip in together.
Yeah.
But yeah, Illinois. So their whole thing, I think, is everybody buys in. They have
the whole
a system that clearly works, and they take pride in their freestyle and Greco performances at duels and Fargo, and that was all thrown off this year by the state tournament being in June or May, or exactly, I forget when it was, but obviously that throws off a whole normal system.
Yeah, listen, Illinois has earned a mulligan, so if they don't win Fargo this year, don't have a down performance, everything's been thrown up, and with having a state tournament this late, I mean, that messes everything up.
I think Illinois won junior freestyle the past 3 years. So they're going for the 4-peat, 3 or 4-peat, I think 4. I don't think they're going to be the favorites. Probably they are maybe a little down, not bringing all of their best guys.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be a really fun team race. That's the thing I'm looking forward to, like, following throughout the tournament the most.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so much discussion about the team race. Are we gonna have like this is maybe a little more technical in nature, but like, are we gonna be able to have like the round by round updates for the team, the state team scores? Because that's fun.
It's only scored by All Americans.
So you won't
get
know
1
until
point.
then.
You get 1 point for eighth, 8 points for first, and fill in
Yes.
the middle. So
No, say them all. Say them all.
Every
How many
number.
per second?
7.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just pumped that there's actual discussion about this team race. I don't remember it ever being as big of a deal. I mean, of course, every state comes to win. You play to win the game, and
Herm Edwards.
Illinois has.
Now Herm's gonna sue you.
Did you? All right. Now everything is.
Might have to sell some of those nice new tops.
Hey, that's your. You brought it up. You brought up the.
It's true. I did set that standard, and now I have to live by it. Every word that someone else has already said, I have to pay them.
You're not a Jets fan, right?
No.
Oh wow.
No, I'm sitting in the Oliver Stone Memorial seat, so of course I'm rooting for the Mets and not the Jets. So I kind of messed that up, but yeah.
Pete Alonso won the All-Star.
How about that?
Or won the home run derby.
Home run derby was.
He makes
magic.
more money winning the home run derby than he does for his actual Mets salary.
Well, they still have to pay Bobby Bonilla, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Bonilla makes more than Pete Alonso, and he will for the foreseeable future.
Bobby Bonilla has a claim to every $1 million that ever gets paid. He gets a little cut of everyone's salary.
That's freaking amazing.
It's just good negotiating.
Yeah, we need to work those kind of contracts in. All right, sorry, I derailed it. I'm going to continue to do that, but I'll apologize after every time I do it.
Hey,
So.
I like it. You're back. You haven't been on the show for a little bit, and you got
Let loose.
You got
Cut
the energy.
loose.
I gotta let loose
Footloose.
a little bit. Everybody cut.
Kick off
The
your
boys are
Sunday
back
shoes.
in town.
Yes.
We now owe royalties to all of those songwriters.
All those songs. Nick Bouzakis is going. He is probably the early Vegas favorite for the OW. If you had to,
Well, he won Cadet OW in 2019.
Yes.
So his bracket is still pretty good. There's a couple of good guys. Hunter Mason being one who just won an NHSCA title, but as Nick Bouzakis, he's probably going to Hulk smash everybody.
he's a Hulk smasher.
Yeah, there's some ranked guys in there. We should give some love to Zeke Seltzer, a Missouri commit, is in the top 5. Maximus Martinez, Ryder Block, Garrett Grice, those guys are all registered. So it'll be a gnarly bracket. If you become an All-American in there, you've done some really good wrestling, but Nick Bouzakis, absolutely the heavy favorite.
And it's the best Fargo in recent memory as in terms of guys coming out and showing out. We kind of expected this, obviously, with no Fargo last year, but it just really did come to fruition. There was a couple guys, bigger names that did were registered and then pulled out with entry, most notably Nick Feldman and Cody Chittum. That
stinks.
Yeah, they were both heavy favorites to win their brackets, but it's still going to be great. Also, like I said, Hunter Garvin for Iowa. Nick Feldman and Hunter Garvin, that could be kind of big for team race implications there with Pennsylvania and Iowa.
Excited to see. I mean, I feel like Drake and Bouzakis are probably the two best guys in the field, right? So
Yeah.
But Drake's got probably 126. I feel like every year 126, 132, 138 are always like super tough, but 126 seems to be the weight for this year. Dean Peterson and Drake, along with a host of other really talented guys.
Two graduated seniors that are, and not just like uncommitted graduated seniors, which there are a handful of good ones this year, but guys who have already signed to colleges. Drake going to Iowa, Dean Peterson going to Princeton in his home state of New Jersey, but just guys that are like, no, I want to come out. I think for Drake, it was we won junior duels, and now Iowa wants to win Fargo type thing. He did it for Iowa. I think Peterson did it more for himself. He had to have surgery on his nose and missed his senior season in New Jersey. So I think he wanted to get some mat time and kind of have closure on his high school career this way.
Well, that's going to be a really tough bracket. I wish Cooper Flynn's going 20, right? I wish he would throw his hat in the ring at 26. Is he that small?
He's a small guy.
He's going to have to You have to get some of Roman's chicken wings. Get it to 120.
But
Lucky for him, he's going to Virginia Tech, which has some
yes,
fantastic food. According to my brother.
Troy Spratley will also be in that bracket. Gabe Weisenhunt, Sergio Lemley, Jory Volk, Evan Mungian, Vince Robinson, Mac Church, and there's still more, but that's just a kind of list a handful that are going to be there in contention for All-American status. Any
guys under the radar you think could make deep runs in certain weight classes? Maybe they're unranked or low ranked that maybe this could be their big opportunity. Those are all often tough to predict, but you can do it sometimes. I believe that JD could do it.
I don't know how under the radar he is. He was under my radar until he just moved to Iowa. He's from Florida. His name is Bas Diaz. He's just a cadet. He'll just be a freshman this year. But he won Florida State's as a 7th and 8th grader. Very good from what I'm hearing, and could be in contention for the title at, I believe, 145 pounds in cadet. So,
like a boss.
Yeah, keep an eye out for him.
What high school is he going to go to in Iowa?
Waverly Shellrock, I believe. His sister moved a year ago, and she won a girls' state title for Waverly Shellrock this year, and now he has officially moved in the summer and will be at Waverly Shellrock next year.
Following in the Ballweg dynasty's footsteps.
Yeah.
There's a trio of guys coming from Stillwater High School that have some good pedigrees. There's Sam Smith. You may be familiar from the Stillwater Smiths. That's John W.'s son. He is at 113. He's not ranked, but I think can do some damage. I think that would not surprise anybody. Victor Voinovic's younger brother, Cale Voinovich, is representing Oklahoma. He is at 145, and I believe Angelo Ferrari, not Anthony, they're both younger brothers of AJ, but I believe Angelo is a rising freshman at Stillwater.
Okay. That's some firepower.
Yeah, all unranked, but this could be an opportunity for them to get on more people's radar.
All right. We've got some charts. We've got some pie charts in here. I'm assuming this is the work of one Andrew Spencer Spey.
Yeah, I threw these in there. They're kind of like a last minute. It was more just, FRL doc. I wanted to contribute to what we could talk about. And our man, John Kozak, flipped me over the...
Flipped you off?
He flipped me off. He said, hey, man, how about this? And I'm like, I don't know what that's about, but... Also, do you have a spreadsheet of the Olympic and world medalists from 2000 to 2019? He said, yes, I have that too. So when he was done flipping me off, he sent me this document. And then I put this pie chart together, and this is the points. So I did a quick and dirty point system.
There's the outro music.
Yeah, and that's the show
and that's
for today.
The show. All right,
you with Sting, and I cut off his new album. So I just did 10, 8, 6, 4, 3 because he had placements 5 gold through 5th place. And it was we went back far enough so that in 2000 and I think 2001 they only did single bronze, and he had a 4th place finish in there too. But anyway, long story short, just kind of rough estimate points wise. It just shows how good Russia is. They take up a lot of the points. Iran and then U.S. is right there afterwards. Georgia, Azerbaijan, so 2 former Soviet republics, just showing how tough it is to win medals after the breakup. And then you go further out there, Cuba, Turkey, Ukraine, Uzbekistan. Cuba, the only other Pan Am and non-Asian or European country to really show up at World and Olympic Championships. And then smaller slices, too small a piece for some of these countries, but India, Mongolia, Belarus, Bulgaria, Japan, Kazakhstan.
All right.
So that's that pie chart. And yeah, I didn't really have any other significance except Kozak wanted to flip me off, and then
he does like to do that.
Yeah.
What's the maximum percentage you could get out of all the points for a single nation? Because 21 is 21% of all points is insane.
I did not do that math, but it is basically, I think Kozak may have tweeted it, but it's something like Russia was in the finals of 50% of every bracket from 2000 to 2019.
Yeah. I think it's, winning an Olympic medal is just never been harder to do when you think about all the stuff you're up against, okay? You've got 10 Russias now in the field.
Yes.
You've got 6 weights. mean, just think about what you have to do to make the team here in America. How much harder it is. Like you've got guys, from 10 weights down now to 6 in 20 years or so? Not that long. A little more than 20 years.
And the proliferation of Russians, it's not just that you now have Georgia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, but now the transfers are coming more and more often. And I think ultimately it's a good thing you have a better product maybe, but it makes it that much tougher, and it's that much more impressive when the U.S. has been able to not only maintain but have improved over the last 10 years. So now it's no longer just these ex-Soviet countries that have former Russians, because it's the former Soviet Union, but you have them transferring to places like Belarus. You have them transferring to places like
Poland.
Hungary, Slovakia, Poland, that have wrestling, have a tradition of wrestling, but not at that level, not even close. And that just raises the bar for everybody. And it's super difficult. And it's worth taking a step back to appreciate just how tough our guys have it. And transfers from America too are
That's
happening.
what I was going to say. We have the top seed at 57 is an American who wrestles for Serbia, right?
Yep.
So that's going to continue to happen. I think that's going to accelerate over the next 10 years. Guys are going to find ways to get on teams because they want to win the Olympics, and it's going to be way easier to make a team for a team that has no wrestle-offs than going through our insane system, which is so competitive, so difficult to do. So I think you're going to see more and more Americans in the field wrestling for various countries. What?
I think that's just a sign of how far USA Wrestling has come in the past 10, 15 years. Like, to think about this happening 20, 30 years ago, that's not, like, I don't think anybody was doing it or would consider doing it, but now it's getting common.
Yes, it is. It's going to get more and more common. And I think, man, and it puts guys like David and Kyle and Gable that we have guys that are favorites to place or win, and plus we already have Kyle Snyder. During this time when it's never been tougher, there needs to be like an added appreciation for what these guys are doing. Look what Dake had to do to make the team, right? Look how long he had to wait to make the team. Now he's got the team. Now he's the man at 74.
And David.
And David, of course, he had to pay his dues for sure. And now, I mean, I know Spay's kind of a hater, but I think Dake's the favorite at 74. I think David is the favorite at 86. And, you've got guys like Gable who, this is a guy that wasn't on the team two years ago. Last time he tried to make a team, he was kept off by Gwiz. So it's just added perspective or appreciation for what our guys are doing, added appreciation for just how tough it is. And I feel like we have to talk about how tough it is because we are forced to accept the IOC's view of wrestling and what they really think about us and how few weights we have. But it does create some, I guess you could say, good things that you have maybe a special added appreciation for what these guys are doing to win and make teams here.
Yep. It concentrates the talent at the World Championships. You don't have to have – it's not just getting by one or two guys, and then you can say, all right, as long as we can beat the Russian or whatever, you got to fight every round. And,
you say that, and it's true that you do concentrate the weights, but it makes it sound like everyone just has, okay, you have all 10 weights, and then you go to 6, and you have all those guys that are in the 10 weights. And 6. No, you don't, though. You really don't. Because
people are getting left out.
Listen, you're just, if you're a Mark Hall, if you're James Green, Alec Pantaleo, you don't have a good Olympic weight, period. James, you're too big for 65, you're too small for 74. That's just a reality, right? So it's not, you don't really get James Green. James Green is entering the tournaments because he wants to make the Olympic team. But the fact is they made a weight class that just two of them, they're just complete nonsense for him. Yeah. And some guys can grow like David and grow into a weight class and be a beast, but that's not an option for everyone.
Yeah, let it not be said that I'm advocating that 6 is the right number.
You love it. You want it at 5.
Never went on the record saying 6 is the best. I think the gaps between the weights are too much. I agree. And yeah, what more so what I meant by concentration, the talent at Worlds is that it's you spread out the countries, and now more people can show up. So you're having less guys blocked due to their federation. But absolutely, the Olympic weights is few and far between. You're making jumps of like 25, 30 pounds. That's wild.
Okay, don't say doo-doo anymore. You're right, but
it's a Donnie don't do.
yes. So yeah, going to be pretty. The fields are for the Olympics are so insane. They're so tough. There's only a couple, in the Worlds, you're like, all right, this country's here. I didn't even know they wrestled, but not a lot of that at the Olympic Games.
It'll be interesting to see at, I don't know if everybody remembers the last games. There were a couple entries where they kind of have like wild cards. I forget the exact verbiage that the IOC uses, but if you're a country that doesn't historically perform well or have a lot of representatives, they'll kind of carve out some spots, and that's how Haiti qualified at 74. There was a wrestler who wrestled in New Jersey, and I actually knew him, Asnich Castelli. He wrestled Yazdani first round, wasn't on that level, but that was one of the few options, like a few guys that you would have where it is, an easy out, for lack of a better term. It'll be interesting to see if the Olympics bring that back. I haven't seen any rules or indication that they will. So if not, then yeah, it's just that 16 and your easy paths. We looked at the draws of death that we may get with Kozak last show, and yeah, there's not a lot of options for you.
No doubt.
It's strange. Opening ceremonies are like 2 weeks away.
Yeah. It's going to be in an empty arena.
Gosh,
that experience is not going to be what the athletes in the past have had. So it's almost like I don't want to think about it because it's going to be so weird.
I know. The process to be able to go to this event has been, Andy Hamilton and I basically concluded that they really don't want a lot of us to come there. They've made some of these hoops for us to jump through, like, really ridiculous. But I think we're gonna go. I got my credential, got a passport, so I'm excited, but also a little concerned. I've never really traveled outside of the country.
Yeah, picked a heck of a trip.
Yeah. So everyone, it's kind of funny how little faith everyone has in me. But I can't tell you how many people are like, including my wife, are like, oh, I'm so glad Andy's going with you, because it's like, oh, good, an adult that can like make sure you don't, I don't know, end up in a Japanese prison or something. Which I don't know why they think that would happen. Zamolov is I don't know if you guys saw this on the gram, but this young man
Poking the bear.
He's poking the bear. He's poking the Jordan Burroughs bear. He says, Burroughs, you next. Which, one, sign me up for that match. I want to see that. Zamolov is a guy who kind of came, I don't know if I want to say out of nowhere. How out of nowhere was Zamolov? He's and give the people a quick rundown of his hit list already in the last couple months.
Oof. JD, you got that hit list? He certainly wasn't on my radar until the Russian Nationals, where
he beat Sidakov. He beat Sabalov after Sabalov beat Sidakov in the semis. But he's actually, I don't know why he's calling out Burroughs right now, because he's not even training. He just had surgery.
You don't know that.
Okay.
He could be playing possum.
That is true. He could be posting fake pictures of him in the hospital
that'd be wild.
In a sling.
I've done that a lot of times.
3D chess.
To throw off my opponents.
Well, I think consider your opponents thrown off, because I would be thoroughly thrown off.
Well, you know what this guy needs to do? He needs to go 79. That's where Jordan Ernest Burroughs will be located in the foreseeable future.
Team Jamalov 79. Change that last number.
Yeah, change it up. You're not going to beat Sidakov.
Maybe that's what he means.
Maybe that is what he means.
Maybe he means I'm going up to 79.
That would be awesome.
Sabalov also now transferred to Serbia after he did not earn the Olympic spot. It was given to Sidakov.
Okay, all right. Update from Kozak. This is, he said, just FYI, this is a fan page for Zamolov, not his personal one.
Yeah. It says Kozak. Did Kozak make that page?
Kozak made it.
It's Kozak's page. It's Kozak's Jamalov fan page.
It's his fan page. He knows that. Either way, we're going to say,
even as they have the same profile picture.
Yeah, so it's confusing. But either way, I don't care. He called out Burroughs, whether he likes it or not. He did. It happened. But I would like to see him go 79 just because.
And he still has 74 in his bio. His official one.
He's just throwing people off. He's throwing people off about his
Kozak
surgery.
did that too.
He's throwing people off about his weight class. But he's not going to – I don't think he's going to beat out Sidakov, at any point. I think Sidakov was just sad for a couple months because of his
My man was down bad.
He was down bad.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, though.
He had one of the most basically the worst wedding you could ever imagine. I guess it could be technically worse, but it doesn't get much worse than that.
You don't wish it upon anybody, enemies.
If you're
or
throwing
friends.
your wife out of the ceremony, something went wrong somewhere along the way. So he was a little heartbroken. We think he's back on the wagon, but Spey thinks he's going to beat Kyle Dake because he hates America, basically.
I am making a prediction that without a ton of confidence, if I was Vegas, the odds would be like 51-49. And so I'm just saying that. But if that motivates Dake to win, then I will be happy to be proven wrong.
Well, I guess why do you think he's the favorite? I'm not saying I'm just trying to get. I want to understand. I want to unpack your logic here a little bit.
It's Sidakov's senior level results and Dake's lack of extensive history down at 74.
Got it. How much? I guess the answer to this is very little. But how much stock do you put in how Dake beat Burroughs in 2 straight?
I put a lot of stock in it. That's why I'm picking him.
Yeah,
because it was really not that close.
Spey's basically throwing that out. He said, "I don't
throwing
care about
anything out. I'm saying, you
recycled it.
It's a hair difference, and we're right up to the border, that 50-50 border." And I'm shading just a little bit over to Sidakov. Maybe I'm just hedging my own expectations, and I can't think of it any other way.
You have been trying to derail my runaway freight train of American Gold greatness predictions. I think we're gonna win 3. Okay, that's
3 gold.
insane. That's half of them all, and we only have 5 people going.
That would be a historic performance of epic magnitude.
Yes.
I would love it. I would be celebrating, and you can call me out. You can say you were a hater.
I'll call you
never
out.
Believed that you didn't even want it to happen. You can say all those lies, but I will be celebrating regardless.
I will say Dake has it too, but the
gamer,
the X factor, the clutch factor, the winning factor. Sidakov has it as much as anybody I've ever seen.
I think it's going to be a super. Assuming it happens, I think we could see it in the finals, or Dake will get drawn in. Though,
could
so
be
you never
round
know.
1.
Yeah, I think it'll be a super slow match, and again, if Dake wins, it's not like that's going to surprise me. It's going to.
But you will be sad.
Fall right in line with expectations. Except I'm just hitting that slight shade over to Sidakov, but it's going to be very low scoring, and then probably come down to the final couple seconds.
But allow me to continue.
Yes.
To attack you for this take.
Yeah, and impugn my character.
I will impugn you because you picked Gable to win.
That's right.
Which I also did, but I'm picking basically all Americans to win.
I have to pick all the Americans if I pick one.
Yes.
I'm picking Kyle Snyder.
See, this is where you're losing me. I don't understand how you pick.
It's not based on super cold like Vegas odds. If I'm doing Vegas odds, then Ahmedaliev is the favorite. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Snyder because I believe that he's going to be coming with some new game plans. He's been working on it. He's a different guy in these big tournaments. And in the lab with Kale at the Nitty Line Wrestling Club, I think he's going to have something else for Ahmedaliev this time. And Ahmedaliev is slowly, showing he's a little more human side in his last several performances.
So you're drinking all the Kale-Aid.
Some of it.
It appears to be a lot. You're picking Kyle Dake to not win and Kyle Snyder too when he is in the toughest bracket, bar none, and he'll have 3 people who beat him the last time he wrestled them.
This is true. 97 is very top heavy, but there are some guys in there. A lot of it recycled from the years before. The 2 guys that Kyle shared the podium stand with that got bronze medals are back. I favor Kyle over them. Otakadzi's back. Kyle's a big heavy favorite over Otakazi.
He's given him some matches though.
Of course, Otakadzi's very good, but I'm not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a walkover. But it's Kyle 9 out of 98 out of 100, whatever.
9 out of 98 out of 100.
99, 98, 99, 99, 99 without blowing up. And yeah, Gable, I think that factor is, he's young, he's on the rise, and those performances happen. Guys that have not won world medals before, but it's their year. It's the perfect, his results curve, his performance curve. He's on the ascendancy, and he may be reaching the absolute peak, or maybe on the way there. And I think he's the guy to win gold this year.
So you pick. Do you pick David?
Man, I don't know if I totally figured that one out. So yeah, but
you picked David.
David.
So you're picking 3 Olympic champions for the great United States.
Historic performance, yes.
I think it could be a historic performance. I really do. My 3 are a little different than your 3 for
very slightly, but medals all around.
Medals all around. Yeah, I think. What is the over/under for medals if you had to set it?
If I had to set it, so I think we're both a little optimistic. Red, white, and blue glasses.
I picked Ed Ruth to win Worlds his first year with Sadulai in the field. I don't give a rip. I'll just do it. I don't care.
Ed.
For medals or golds?
It's medals in general.
Medals.
Because I feel like we are favored to medal at 74, 86, 97, and 125.
Mm-hmm.
So you would set the line at, would you do 3.5 or 4.5? You do
3.5.
3.5.
Probably.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you're just going Vegas odds, you gotta go pessimistic, because even though they're a favorite, there only might be like a barely 50% favorite, and then you add up all those 50% favorites, because you have a field, so a guy could be 25%, 25%, 50%, still only a coin flip, and Vegas would probably do 2.5 unless they know that it's mostly Americans betting that are all going to bet 3.5, and then you'd move it up.
Yeah. A factor in this is Gilman, and a lot of questions about his health, and the field's really tough. Is tough. It's not as tough as like a 65 or as deep or as top heavy as a 97. But the word coming out of camp is he's back and he's wrestling and he's healthy, which is great news, because that was sort of a question. He put out the post, and then there's speculation to the degree of injury for Thomas, but sounds like he's fine, and that's exciting. And this is a guy that was silver in the world. If he gets drawn on the top side, guys, it's wide open for him to make the finals. He can make the finals if he's on the top side. He can beat Stevan. He can beat Kumar's the 4, right?
Ravi, I think so.
So
Ravi.
I mean, now there's going to be some other tough guys that are drawn in there, but listen, you can't rule it out.
5 for 5, baby.
Yeah, 5 golds. It's going to happen.
It's certainly possible. I would say it's definitely a long shot for the U.S. to win the unofficial team race. There is
no, it's official. It's our official.
Right, the Flow official team race. It's a long shot, but even with a man down, with only 5 of the 6 weights in men's freestyle, it's possible that they win it over Russia that has all 6, or Iran who has all 6.
Because Russia has their heavyweight is not a strong contender.
Kozirev, cousin of John Kozak.
Yes, one of his favorite cousins. He doesn't flip him off.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, they're kind of, I won't say they're a man down, because, I think he's maybe an out. With these draws, the barrier to be considered a medal contender is lower, right?
Yeah, and only 16. It's an even 16, so it's 2 matches to get to the semis.
Right. So, that barrier is reduced compared to, like, it sounds weird, but like an NCAA bracket where it's all... they seed everyone, so the data is a lot cleaner because they've all basically competed against each other. Mm-hmm. Whereas it's a little different with how we draw the brackets for international. So we'll see. And Russia's going to have a good performance, I'm sure. They had a fine. They did good at the Rio Olympics, although I don't think they did. I don't know if they won the official whatever at Rio, because they had Boltakayev had a predictable flame out.
That will never stop providing enjoyment to me. That
all
just
time.
Resting his head on the ref while he's after he lost, and it's like it was magnificent.
Because Lebedev went at 57. I don't think he did
No, he didn't win. He didn't get a medal.
He didn't do jacks.
And that was there was a little controversy there. Could have been a politically
Musakayev.
motivated.
Yeah.
Drove Musakayev over to Hungary.
He would love to be 57 again, I'm sure. Can you imagine his tank at 57? 65, they won. Romanov won, right?
Yeah.
In that insane bracket. He beat Asgarov.
He went ham.
That was
for Besic.
That was ridiculous. 74, they should have won. Godoyev's head ran out of blood and he lost.
Yeah, he was wearing a diaper on his head by the end of that match.
You just can't win with a XL Loves on your head. It's just hard. It's just hard. Bottom line. So he didn't win. Sajalayev won. 97 they flamed out. And then who went at heavy? Did Makov go for them at heavy?
That sounds right.
But is it? I'm trying to remember. 2016 Russia Wrestling Olympics. I'm just going to look it up real fast for terrible radio. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to stop looking it up. Maybe we'll find it.
I have it here. No, I don't. That's Akul. Yeah, it was Makov. He lost to Zazayev of Ukraine in the first round, and Zazayev lost to Petrashvili in the second round.
So yeah, Russia didn't do great in 16. There was a lot of...
They're going to do even worse this year, seeing as how
That's right.
they won't even be wrestling.
Right. Russia's not there.
Yes, ROC is what they're known for. No flags, but they can still wear the Russian colors and represent Russia in spirit.
That'll show them. This is really the shot across the bow that Russia needed to get their act together. They're gonna start taking all this stuff super serious.
They'll think twice before next time they decide to get illegal advantages.
Yes. I think their team this year is better. They definitely have a better 57.
Yes.
65. I think 65 Romanov is. I think he's better than Rashidov, but they're both. He did win. Rashidov is a favorite to win. To the degree that is being discussed online, I don't know. I think he's a regular favorite. I don't think he's some Sajalayev level figure at 65, but he's very good. 74, anything outside of making the finals would be a disappointment for Sidakov, I think. 86 is a down.
Well, the random draw thing throws that off.
It does, because he could have Dake, for sure. But okay, so I'll say this: if he doesn't medal, that is absolutely shocking. And I think he will medal, and I think he's gold or silver. 86, Nifanov.
He'll be a medal contender.
Thing is, it's one of those weights where it's not their best guy by a long shot, but this is not a good weight. And outside of David and Yazdani, who really freaking knows? I mean, we're talking about Miles Amin could be a legit medalist here at this weight class, right? So
my guy Deepak Punia.
Deepak Shakur.
Ooh, still salty.
Yeah, he forfeited in a world
finals. He was injured.
That's an all-timer. I mean, Deepak he's made me furious on so many occasions. When he beat Jacob Warner, I thought I was gonna, destroy a plasma TV. That was terrible. Now he's forfeiting out of World Finals. But yeah, I mean, Nifanov could be bronze for sure. So you have a weak weight, or a weaker wrestler, but it's also a weaker weight. Except
He'll
for the top
also
two.
be opposite. No. He'll be opposite Miles and Deepak. He'll be on Yazdani's side.
So that doesn't help.
That doesn't help. But
Especially if David's on that side.
Mm-hmm.
David's such a boogeyman at that weight.
It could, if David gets put on the other side, help him get pulled into repechage.
Yeah, no doubt. And then 97, they've got a guy who Spade doesn't think can win the Olympics, but many people do.
Doesn't think can?
You don't think
it's
it's
a little bit of a misrepresentation of my book.
You said there's no way.
There's no way, yeah. Everyone else has got to get food poisoning in the bracket, and then maybe
But there
he
is
has a chance.
no way.
No way. That's such a great ref. But yeah, Sajalayev, I mean, if he does this, how close is he getting to the GOAT status? Because you have to factor in, well he's not losing.
Yeah,
He
less
doesn't-
misses than Satiev, who had some hiccups in his run.
I mean, if he wins this, one loss since 2013, that is just insane. And the loss was as close as it gets to who? Another legend.
Yep.
An absolute legend. Kyle Snyder can hang it up right now. He's a legend forever. So I mean, 2 Olympic titles puts him up there. The basically a nearly 10-year run of undefeated wrestling. If he can string another couple together, now we'll see, because in wrestling sometimes guys can just fall off quickly. Some guys do, some guys don't. But I haven't seen enough regression out of Sadulayev. He looks only mortal now, right? That's it. That's all you can say is he looks okay. Whereas it was like just not even a discussion that you could lose. It's like, okay, I could see Sal somehow it could happen.
And he's at an upper weight where I just got done mentioning how all the 97 guys are not ancient, but from, are sticking around, the Ibragimovs, the Odekadzes. So you can make a career like that. And if he just regresses to the level of, let's say, Gutsalov or Goizumov, then he's winning world medals for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Even if he's not the same level of completely undefeated, he's still in that medal conversation for 10 plus years.
The question will be is how long is he going to want to do this, right? And the age thing is discussed, that he's not how old it says he is. We all know that he's a little older, but even still, even if you take the oldest age, we can kind of theorize with Sadulayev. He's still got some years, plenty of tread on the tires,
for sure.
So it's going to be a fun conversation as he continues his ascent.
Yep. And then at 125, continuing the Russian comparison, I think Makov had definitely a better pedigree than Kozyrev, but Kozyrev is younger and has a little bit more higher ceiling. I don't know if he reaches that potential at in Tokyo. I wouldn't expect it, but you could have a wash there. I think ultimately you have more liabilities in this 2016 team because you had Boltakayev and then Lebedev. Yeah. Were the guys that you were much less sure of going into the Olympics. And then this year, you didn't have a guy like Lebedev that probably shouldn't have been on the team. You don't have a guy like Boltakayev who knows what's going on with that guy.
Yeah. It's funny, everyone talks about how Russia picks their team and like it's this gold standard when they literally put on Lebedev, who had he was not the best guy by any stretch at that point in his career. So that's always funny. Okay. That was Olympics. We'll talk about it some more, I'm sure, as it comes, gets closer and closer. Excitement beginning to build. We'll hit a couple questions and we'll get the heck out of here. This guy Ryan Betts, I'm proud of him. I hope his employer is not watching. That would be bad. But he says, I may have accidentally on purpose broken my finger at work so I can watch the Olympics. Then he says, he just throws that in, and then he goes, what are the hardest Olympic brackets to win this year in order? I think that was just kind of a little narrative hook he threw in there to get me interested. And I'm interested. Ryan Betts, I'd like to know what you do. And I hope your boss doesn't listen to this show, but he broke his finger. Now, it's a common thing you hear about, March Madness, guys get sick or whatever so they can watch the basketball tournament and stuff.
You get, your medical clearance off, and then you're supposed to sit down for a day or two. What better time to sit on the couch all day?
Man, no comment there. It was but what are the hardest Olympic brackets to win this year? I think 97.
74.
97 is really tough. Hardest to win. No, the bracket where you have to beat Sadulayev to win it is true. The hardest bracket.
Yeah. We can talk about the depth of other brackets. 65 is like more of a crapshoot, but 97 to go through the guys that you'll have to go through.
You think 70?
I was thinking the 1-2 punch of Sidakov and Dake.
Yeah.
And also slightly Chamizo.
That's a punch. I mean, Chamizo, I feel like we're maybe discounting him a little too much. I mean, think about how close that match he had with Dake. And listen, you can say what you want about that match. It was a 74. Those guys are the exact same size, 1. 2, those guys both wanted to win so bad. They were both absolutely clicking on all cylinders for that match. It wasn't some throwaway thing. So that was a real match. And that guy fired off a leg attack and took down Kyle Dake. Okay, that doesn't just happen.
It was very close at the end.
Yes, and he was very close at the end, too. So I think Chamizo is getting overlooked in this scenario a little too much.
Yeah, what do we put the odds of a Chamizo Gold? Nobody's picking him, but would you be shocked?
Yes.
I would not be shocked.
Right.
I mean, he would not be my pick.
Right.
He would not probably be my second pick, I don't think. But
Maybe shocked isn't the right word. I would be surprised.
Are you giving him a 1 in 10 shot?
oh yes,
Right?
absolutely.
So
I
1
think
in
it's around
10's happen, 2 in 10, 1 in 5.
I'd say 1 in 5. I think he's
Yeah.
a 20% chance. I think there's only 3 guys that can win it: Sidikov, Dake, and Chamizo. 20% there. That leaves 80, and you go, maybe 50, 30, 20 for Dake, Sidikov, Chamizo. I don't know, something like that.
Right.
50%. It sounds high for Dake to say he's a 50% favorite, but I don't know, about something like that, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, maybe I calculate a little bit differently as we've established here.
Yes, the Spay
More
calculation.
like 40, 40, 20.
What? Okay, yeah, that's fine.
It's pretty close to what you
Yeah,
just
I know.
said.
I know. So yeah, that now a lot of people think that do we agree that 65 is the deepest weight class, just really really good wrestlers?
I feel like there's more possibility that somebody wins there. That there's more people that can win gold there, much more plausibly.
Well, I would say I think the medal table can look so much more different for 65 compared to 74, where basically 3 of those guys are going to be on the podium, right?
Right.
So that just leaves room for one more. Whereas 65, it's like, yeah, Odaguru is really good. Yeah, Batrang's really good. Yeah, Rashidov. Yeah, Haji Aliyev. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could go on with that list a little bit. Your guy Tavanian,
Yep.
you love him.
I'm a big Tavanian guy.
You love Armenia, though.
I do. It's a great place.
One of your favorite nations.
They created, without Armenia, we wouldn't have System of a Down.
Really?
Yeah, they're all Armenian. Armenians from California. But,
It kind of sounds like California to me, but
I mean, yeah, they're Californian, but they're
Musakayev won gold. That's all I
oh
gotta
my
say.
gosh, I didn't even say Musakayev. We have a little goat
Yes.
in the field, and I didn't say his name. Big time shame on me.
who also who probably won't win gold, but he's young and you never know. Ahmedaliev of Kyrgyzstan.
You just like Kyrgyzstan.
You're naming more countries that I have passion
Deep loves for.
Yes.
Give us the pitch for this guy.
For Ernazar Ahmedaliev, watch him in his matches in the qualification for the Asian qualifiers. He pins Bekbalatov. Bekbalatov was up, and it was like, oh, he caught him a headline. But no, the Bekbalatov points I don't think were as solid as the score would indicate. And then, he hit a really good, kind of like a modified headlock.
Yeah.
And then he's just looked sharp. Nothing. I can't think of the actual matches, but every time I've seen him, it's like, okay, I have a little bit more confidence in him. I think, him taking out some guys, Niazbekov and Valdez, those are certainly possibilities. He may not make the podium, but he's going to give somebody a hellacious match.
Awesome. Question from Juan the God. How good would Demetrius Johnson be with Spencer Lee's wrestling and Mikey Musamechi's jiu-jitsu?
Absurd, obviously.
He would be unbeatable.
He would be Demetrius the God.
He'd do, yes, he would. That is a pretty unbelievable combination of skills. If you don't know who Mike Musamechi is, he is maybe possibly the greatest.
You can watch a documentary on him on Flow Grappling.
Yes, he's wrestled on Who's Number One, which Joe Rogan shouted out, which was like one of the weirdest moments of my vacation. It's like, oh my gosh, he's talking about this thing. It is kind of weird because, one, to watch this and just be all amped up and just be like a sports fan and hear Joe Rogan talk about it. But then Joe Rogan also comes to these events, and Daniel Cormier is like, it was like, I was like, Katie, this is so strange. Like, that all these people are sort of in this universe that I'm sort of a nobody, but I kind of tangentially know these people. So that was a really cool moment and exciting because they're talking about Gilbert Burns fought in Who's Number One against Rafael Lavado Jr. If you don't know, Who's Number One for grappling is not like it is wrestling. It's like a high school all-star match where it's like Who's Number One. It is like the top tier competition in
The UFC.
It's the UFC of jiu-jitsu. It's like the best of the best, most entertaining. So it's sort of a little different, but we took the name, and it's blowing up in jiu-jitsu. But Mikey Musamechi is this American who's like one of the best in the world, and he's going to be fighting actually this Saturday on event against Gio Martinez. So check him out. He's like this most unassuming looking guy. He's like, 135 pounds. He's got glasses, and he's sort of like nerdy for sure, but he just destroys people and breaks their legs. And
when he runs onto the mat, you don't think, wow, that guy's going to murder somebody, but then he just does whatever he wants.
Yeah, he runs like a mall walk, like you would envision a mall walker's run. Like, and he's squinting and he can't see, but he just destroys people. So check that out. Should be exciting. ADCC rules are very wrestling centric. So if you like wrestling, bad wrestling at some points, because these guys are not elite wrestlers.
They don't stand them up. There's no parterres over, and let's get back to neutral.
But you sacrifice the not so great wrestling, but some of it's really good. You have some guys you're like, oh, that looks like a D1 wrestler there, but they can strangle each other and break their legs. So
it's like the nervous factor of at any moment somebody could get tapped out.
Yes,
something cool.
It's pretty freaking sweet. So excited for that. That's this Saturday. All right, Stringer's burner phone. Make sure you change your SIM card, String. Okay, one wrestler got a deal selling chicken wings. A few are selling their own gear. So far, wrestlers seem to be pretty minor in the NIL business. Any stories of major deal with star athletes in mainstream sports? I haven't actually heard a ton of like, oh, this Oklahoma quarterback signed with this thing. I haven't heard a lot of that stuff
Auburn's
yet.
quarterback right away the first day signed with Milo's Sweet Tea, which is huge in the South.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No yerba mate.
A sweet tea in the South. That sounds like a money-making venture. An Auburn quarterback with a sweet tea deal just sounds like a license to print money in Alabama.
And then they did end up signing an Alabama player as well, so that they don't,
Oh yeah.
You
don't unite the.
Yes, you don't want to do one.
You want to cut out whatever percentage of your potential customers.
Roll dang tide. But yeah, I haven't heard any super major huge deals. I would figure these guys don't have to be in the biggest hurries to sign stuff, right? They're probably hearing out options, and it's only been allowed for 2 weeks, so I don't think so. But yeah, I think the wrestling stuff is going to accelerate as time goes on.
Hersey Miller, incoming Tennessee State freshman and son of Master P, signed a deal with Web Apps America for $2 million.
What?
Make him say cha-ching.
Miller will be a brand ambassador for the tech company.
What's Tennessee State?
That's one of the 50 states of the union.
Oh my gosh, I mean, why are they $2 million? This sounds like a scam. Why are they paying this guy $2 million?
They want to hit him with Master P.
Just give Master P $2 million, not his kid. How good is his kid if he's going to Tennessee State? I'm talking completely ignorantly here. This guy could be the GOAT, and Tennessee State could be like the next great team. But I haven't heard of Tennessee State as a football. This is where Bracky left. Oh, it's basketball.
It's basketball.
Okay, same thing, just different sport.
Is it? It's not Middle Tennessee State, is it? Just Tennessee State?
Just Tennessee State.
All right, we're going to have to go on a Hersey Miller deep dive.
Yeah. JD, you did this, so you need to figure it out.
Yeah, you did this.
I just presented the
you
information.
You Googled it, and now you have to take ownership.
I don't need to look anything more up. I don't care.
All right. So those are the questions. I think we're going to see more stuff from wrestling as things are. I think there's some apparel deals for sure in the works, shoe stuff happening, no doubt.
Yeah.
And there's no rush on it. It's gonna be fun to follow along as this new chapter begins in NCAA wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll take some time, but it's going to be cool, and it'll evolve into something, and nobody knows exactly what. But I think with the creativity in the sport, it's going to be interesting.
Yes, no doubt about it. Okay, I think you should leave season 2. It was so good.
I have a question for you before we leave.
Ask him.
How did you pick up this tab while you were on the show for one David Bray, who was in the Heartland?
Oh, that's right.
Casey's breakfast pizza.
Yeah, how did I pick it up? Well, there's technology these days where you can
That was very kind of you.
Western Union people money via horseback, and they deliver the
Pony Express.
Yeah, that's right. No, I saw that, and it's delicious Casey's Pizza. Speaking of sponsorships, I mean, there's one.
There's no bigger ambassador of Casey's Pizza than yourself.
Well, especially when all pizza becomes Casey's Pizza.
You're going to
Basically my
Fargo, right?
philosophy.
There's one right there.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. I'll have an opportunity to indulge in the country's most famous pizza of them all.
Okay. Anything else before we depart?
I think that's it.
Okay, we did it.
Watch Fargo. Watch Cadet Worlds.
Yeah, no show tomorrow.
No show tomorrow.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I wanted to.
Who's number one? We're going to be talking more Fargo and potential matchups. Golden tickets are on the line. All sorts of fun stuff happening.
That's right.
Yes. Oh, shout out Eric Hinckley. He's going to Last Chance.
He will be at Last Chance.
But we know if there's one thing we know,
97.
if there's one thing we know about Eric Hinckley, this is not actually his last chance. It's just the last chance for this year.
Continuing his journey.
He's going to be back in the mix, entering last chances from now till who knows. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back
Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Maybe. I'll be in Fargo. We'll see. We'll do something.
We'll do something. We'll call you in. We'll call you. Maybe you and Ben. Ben will be there. He's
That's
coaching, all of Team Wisconsin. So, have him hop on. He's throwing. I've died laughing when Space said Ben likes to throw frisbees in the woods, talking about how he doesn't know how rankings works. He's throwing frisbees in the woods.
He loves throwing frisbees in the woods.
He does.
That's not a lie.
It's just such a funny way to dunk on disc golfing. Some guy throwing frisbees in the woods. Thank you guys. Even those of you that throw frisbees in the woods, we think it's pretty cool, actually. I think it's great. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Let's go eat tacos, boys. Whoop, whoop.